everybody. Welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfield, and we said it last week. We said there's going to be a lot of volatility. Expect significant market volatility. I did not think it would be that volatile, but boy howdy, last week we saw some phenomenal market moves, whiplash type of moves based off this war in Iran, and who knows where it's going to go. I think that's going to be the common theme every week on Monday Morning Must Knows is what is going to happen with the Iran conflict. Make sure you protect yourselves, maybe scale back a little bit and be a bit more defensive than proactive and aggressive because this market whipsaws so much. Now, we may not get those major headlines like we did last week from the president, but we might get some from earnings calendars. Yes, that's right. We have a lot of big names reporting earnings this week, way bigger than last week. Yes, we had Delta Airlines, which surprisingly, Delta Airlines did not give a 2026 full year forecast. That's strange. Why would that be? Maybe because oil went from $60 to $120 per barrel? That could have something to do with it. Let's dive into our earnings calendar and see what we've got cooking. We start things off on Monday with Goldman Sachs and Fastenal. Tuesday brings you JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank, BlackRock, Kinder Morgan, and Johnson & Johnson. On Wednesday, more financials with Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Progressive, PNC Financial, and ASML. Then we get one of the largest chip makers in the world, supplying everybody. That would be TSM or Taiwan Semiconductor. You've got Netflix, Pepsi, Abbott Labs, Charles Schwab, and US Bancorp. And on Friday, even more banks. That's right. Even Fifth Third Bancorp is reporting. Ericsson, State Street, and Ally Financial. Now, there's 128 companies reporting this week. Those are some of the major names. And really, it's going to be interesting to see how these financial firms stack up. There's a lot of focus on financials right now, and we'll see what their forecast is going forward. Financial companies tend to be a little bit more open about their forecasts and analyzing the different factors driving their businesses. Curious to see what that shows us. Now, the other big thing that happened in the United States last week, we had the core PCE price index and CPI numbers. Well, let's take a peek at the producer price index, one more piece of inflationary data for the United States markets, which may impact the Fed's decisions to raise, lower, or keep rates right where they're at. As you can see here, U.S. inflation numbers have been going up significantly with regards to PPI, that's Producer Price Index. On Tuesday, we get the latest reading. And if you go by my mantra, which is the trend is your friend until the bend at the end, it's not looking so good. Really, all of this year, 2026, has been increasing and increasing, increasing. And based off what we saw with the CPI numbers, odds are pretty good. We're going to see this increase. So keep your eye on this one. It'll be very important, especially if you're looking to anticipate what the Fed may do going forward. Next on our list, something I don't normally focus on. I don't usually look at manufacturing, but it's actually rather a light economic data week. There's been a lot of talk about manufacturing in the United States and can we bring back some jobs that we were outsourcing internationally. If you think about it, the United States pretty much gave away our competitive advantage by outsourcing manufacturing to all these cheap countries around the world. A lot lower labor costs in Mexico, a lot lower labor costs in Taiwan and Vietnam and China. So let's let them manufacture our stuff. And now we've kind of become trapped by our own greed and making more money and profits. All that manufacturing is international. Now, what am I getting at here? Well, we do have two pieces of big manufacturing numbers coming out for the United States. And this may give us some clues as to how well manufacturing is doing in the United States. And is there more coming into the United States? That is going to be manufacturing PMI numbers. Now, on Wednesday, we get the Empire State Manufacturing Index. That's going to happen at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. That's one of the major ones for the U.S., and it has not been looking very good, honestly. Next one we're going to look at is on Thursday, which is the Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, also 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, these aren't the critical pieces that you just go, wow, this is driving our economy. But it is an economic force. And ideally, the president and the current administration would love to see some of those jobs coming back to America, especially since we keep hearing more and more and more about AI taking away jobs. Maybe this becomes a segment for economic growth and people to go start finding new jobs at. So that is your kind of major announcements of the week. You've got Empire State Manufacturing Index, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, a lot of major earning names, as well as the Producer Price Index, which will give us some indication as to how producers are faring with these higher energy prices and overall inflation costs. That, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must Knows. We'll see you next week.